Have you ever found yourself looking at ancient sculptures from India and thinking, wait a minute, are these two the same thing? It's a super common puzzle, and today we're going to solve it. We're diving deep into the world of Jain and Buddhist art to uncover the subtle but really profound differences between them. Okay, let's just jump right in. Take a good look at these two sculptures. At first glance, they look almost identical, right? Both are these serene, meditative figures, but one is a Jain Tirthankara, and the other is a Buddha. So how in the world can you tell them apart?
And here's the secret, the key to the whole thing. The visual differences aren't just random artistic choices. Nope, every single one, from the posture to the hands to the facial expression, is a direct result of two very different philosophies. So to really see the art, we first have to get a handle on the ideas that created it.
Now, what's pretty surprising is that both of these art forms actually share the same basic purpose. You can think of them as a kind of visual blueprint for spiritual liberation, a real, tangible image of the ultimate goal that a follower is trying to reach.
And this is the big but. How they get to that goal is where everything changes. And this right here is the core philosophical split that explains all the visual differences we're about to see. It all comes down to a path of absolute detachment versus a path of active compassion.
So let's break that down. In Jainism, the ultimate goal is something called kaivalya. This means the complete isolation and purification of your own soul. It's an inward journey. In Buddhism, the goal is nirvana, and this is key. It's an enlightenment you achieve not just for yourself, but with the goal of helping every other living being achieve it too. So one path is focused inward, the other is focused outward.
The Jain path to get to Kaivalya is through some pretty extreme asceticism, and what that means is intense self-denial, a really radical letting go of everything material. The idea is that only through total stillness and detachment can the soul finally break free from worldly karma.
Buddhism, on the other hand, charts a different course. It's called the middle way. The Buddha taught that liberation is found by avoiding the extremes. You don't starve yourself, but you don't overindulge either. It's a path that balances discipline with a sense of practicality, all guided by wisdom and, importantly, compassion.
All right, so now we get the philosophy. Detachment versus compassion. So let's get to the really cool part, seeing how these two worldviews are literally carved into stone. These are the visual clues that are going to make you an expert at this. First up, what are they wearing, or not wearing? Notice on the left, Jain Tirthankaras are often shown nude. This isn't for shock value. It's a huge philosophical statement. It symbolizes absolute non-possession and total detachment from everything, even clothes. Now compare that to the Buddha on the right. He's always wearing monastic robes, which totally reflects the practicality of that middle way. Okay, next, check out the posture. A standing Jain figure is often in a pose called Kayat Sarga. It's perfectly rigid, totally motionless, arms at the side. It symbolizes this intense, unwavering concentration. Buddhist figures, though, even when they're standing, they often have this gentle, relaxed bend to their body. That little bit of flexibility suggests someone who is still engaged with the world, ready to teach. The hands give us another massive clue. Jain figures almost always use just one gesture, the dhyana mudra, or the meditation pose. It's like they're saying, the journey is complete, I'm done. They're in a state of perfect stillness. Buddhist figures? Well, that's a whole different story. They have an entire vocabulary of hand gestures called mudras. And this variety is so important. Each Buddhist mudra tells a story from the Buddha's life. The earth-touching gesture, that's his moment of enlightenment. The gesture of turning the wheel, that's his very first sermon. The gesture of fearlessness is all about offering protection. The hands are actively talking to you, communicating his teachings. And finally, let's look at the face and body. A Jain Tirthankara has a special mark called a Srivatsa on the chest, and a really stark, neutral expression. They're beyond all emotion. That's perfect detachment. The Buddha, however, has an Ushnisha. That's the bump on his head, symbolizing wisdom, and very often a gentle, serene smile. And that smile isn't just about being happy. It's the visual expression of deep, profound compassion for all beings.
Okay, I know we've just covered a lot of details, so I'm going to give you a super simple analogy that will lock all of this in for you. Just for a second, let's forget all the ancient terms and think about the ocean.
Imagine that this whole spiritual journey is like a deep-sea dive. The goal is to get to the bottom of the ocean. But how you do it? Well, that reveals everything.
The Jain Tirthankara is like the ultimate deep-sea diver on a solo mission. Their goal is to reach the deepest, most isolated, stable point at the very bottom. So, they wear no gear. That's the nudity. They stay perfectly still to conserve energy. That's the rigid posture. And they're not giving any signals because their personal journey is totally complete. They are a perfect model of unmoving inner stability. The Buddha, on the other hand, is the scuba instructor. Their goal isn't just to get to the perfect depth, it's to get there and then return to help others dive safely too. They wear the necessary gear. Those are the robes of the middle way. And they are constantly using hand signals, the mudras, to teach you, to guide you, and to protect you. They're a model of serene wisdom and active communication.
And with that analogy in mind, the puzzle is basically solved. You now have the philosophical key and the visual checklist to tell these incredible sculptures apart with total confidence.
So here it is, one last time your ultimate cheat sheet. For Jain art, remember, the goal is kaivalya, for the self. The figure is nude or nearly nude. You're looking for that one-hand gesture, the meditation pose. You'll see the Srivatsa mark on the chest and a super rigid pose. For Buddhist art, the goal is nirvana, for all. The figure is clothed in robes, uses lots of different hand signals or mudras, has the ushnisha on the head, and a more relaxed pose. See, you've got this.
So if you take just one thing away from all this, let it be this. Jain sculpture is a model of perfected being, the soul in its purest, most isolated state. And Buddhist sculpture is a model of perfected action, the awakened one's life as a teacher full of wisdom and compassion. In the end, it turns out that form really does follow philosophy.